Well, welcome back. I haven't had a lot going on, so that's the reason for the prolonged absence of a video, but I do have a wheel bearing going out. The passenger side wheel bearing is going out. When I make a turn to that side, it definitely feels like I'm driving on a mud tire, so I'm starting to get a little bit of noise coming out of it. So we're gonna go ahead and get that changed out. It's not too So this is another telltale sign that this bearing is going bad, this whole hub assembly here, which we'll remove here in a minute. This is really hard to turn. I've got to grab it, really torque on it to get it to go, so. So I did get this new hub put on. Just kind of show you, I was talking about one finger. It's a lot easier to turn. I don't obviously have this all the way in. One thing I found is this is only a year old and I'm not very happy with it. These are Detroit axle, I believe, and I've gone through like 3 of their 4 of their parts. They just wear out. Mostly the boots wear out more than anything. So I'm gonna replace this upper control arm. I'll probably do that another night though, and get this bolted back up. It's just a boot. The ball joint feels pretty good. But we'll get everything buttoned back together and then move on to the supercharger pulley. Well, as you can see, I got that all buttoned up. I'm gonna replace that ball joint another day, but it's all together. I'll take it for a test drive and make sure that that's actually what the issue is, but I'm pretty sure that should take care of it. Next is moving on to the supercharger pulley. This is the 3.8 size pulley that comes stock. Obviously, I've talked about having the 1-inch offset instead of the ribs being here. The ribs are offset by 1 inch, and this helps clear the M90 that I have in my truck. Then I went down to the 3.4. This was the smallest one that ZZ Performance makes. And again, 1-inch offset. You can see the size difference quite a bit from 0.8 to 0.4. So I was saying this is what I've been running. I've been getting the boost with. They can feel it, but we need to get that up a little bit more. So found a machine shop in town that was actually able to make me one. So you can see the difference here. This is about 3.15 on the ribs versus 3.4 here. So not a big difference there. The difference here though is they just didn't mill down the sidewall as much, and that's fine because I'm gonna have to modify. And let me show you what I'm gonna have to modify on the snout. So this is what's going to have to change. All these stabilizing fins, which just kind of reinforce this snout as it has pressure put on it. You don't want it to crack or anything like that. You can see this mark right here. That's how far back, and it basically will need to be almost flush with this. This is pretty small, and I'll show you what that looks like with the new pulley on there. So as you can see, it doesn't go very far before we start hitting these fins, and we have to get it back. So I'm gonna work on getting these taken down so it's smooth, and that'll allow us to fit the new pulley on. All right, well, I have ground this down, sanded it smooth. You can see just taking a little bit of that fin off. So now that's on all the way. And the only rubbing there is from where it's hitting the actual mounting coupler here. It's not rubbing on any part of the snout. So I'm gonna get this bolted up. I'm gonna get a new belt on it and see if we can see some difference. Well, as you can see, I got the new pulley on. It's not rubbing, and I got the belt that was the right size, so that was nice and tight enough. So we're gonna take this for a test drive, see what our boost levels are at, and then try out that new hub as well. Well, hey there. The other day when I was replacing the hub, I found a worn out ball joint, so I've got ahead and got that new one in, and I'm going to go ahead and get that put in. Shouldn't take too long. It's just a few bolts after we get the wheel off. Here's that ball joint and arm. Holes there in the boot. There's the new one. I value my time, so I just buy the arm and ball joint with it already in there. Let's get it put back in. Hey there, just trying this out this morning. We've got the truck going, it's running smooth. Seems to be a lot more boost. I'm gonna show you the screen here and we'll see if you can tell the difference. Because of the bypass valve, it drives like a truck without a supercharger most of the time. Once the accelerator goes past 60% open, that's when that bypass valve closes and that's when the boost actually kicks in. Of course, you can't quite feel what I'm feeling, but there's definitely a takeoff once that hits. It really goes. So it went up to about 4,000 RPM. Again, most of this is for towing and for the interstate, and I've noticed an improvement in that as well. I'll be towing my Argo back up to our cabin, and we'll see how it does with that. But so far, I'm happy with the results. Well, as I said, I'm pretty happy with the results so far. I'm not sure if you could tell, but I was about 4,000 RPMs, and it's still a weird thing that's happening where the engine just basically cuts off at 4,000. That's not the rev limiter, but my boost is up to about 3.5 to 4 pounds, which is kind of where I was expecting it to be, and so I'm pretty happy with that. Always thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I put a lot of work into trying to make these watchable and enjoyable. I hope they're enjoyable for you. I love seeing comments of any type, so feel free to leave those, and make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel so you always know when new content's coming out. Thanks for watching.